For those that plan on joining Florida's legal cannabis industry, you need to see this. I sat down with Robert Platshorn, author of Black Tuna Diaries and founder of the Silva Tour that teaches seniors about the benefits of cannabis. What made you decide to produce a business conference for medical marijuana?
I decided to produce this conference because Florida is my home. I've worked really hard for the past 6 years to get medical marijuana on the ballot and get the support to know that it's going to pass in November. And of course, we're polling really high numbers. It's going to pass. The conference starts off with an attorney from Florida who's been involved for years in putting together this campaign and the regulations that will most likely be enforced once Amendment 2 passes. And he's also been the most successful defense attorney presenting a medical marijuana defense here in Florida. And that's very important for understanding the law here. We've got someone who's a national expert. He's the head of Normal in Washington, Mitch Earlywine. Mitch is going to explain how federal law is evolving and changing, the enforcement anyway, and what's expected in the next year or two in terms of actually changing the law and not just the enforcement as we've done for the past year. He'll explain the Holder memos and what they mean to people in the business and how they'll have to comply with the 8 regulations in the Holder memo in order to be legal in states that are legal. Really, what made me plan this conference was I saw that people were running around putting on one-day classes on how to become a millionaire in the marijuana business. If you're looking for blue sky, the marijuana business is not it, because this is going to be a tough industry to get into here in Florida. It's going to be expensive. It's going to be time consuming. People really want to know the facts before they put their money into it. So I put together a conference that's for doctors, for lawyers, people who want to grow, people who want to run dispensaries, and very importantly, people who want to be caregivers, which is a tremendous opportunity for people here in Florida who don't have a lot of money, but who sincerely want to be part of medical cannabis and want to help people. And then we've got 2 doctors. Very few doctors in this state know how to write for marijuana, for what conditions are going to be acceptable to write for marijuana. So we've got one of the best addiction experts in the state, Dr. Robert Ben Mitchell, who intends to treat with marijuana, who's got a good education and background in medical marijuana. And I have him there for doctors who want to learn what it's all about. It's a second doctor who's going to teach the doctors the basics of the endocannabinoid system, why marijuana works for so many different conditions, how it works, and how safe it is, and how it doesn't interact with other drugs that people are taking. We've got Mike Booten, who was the grower featured on the Discovery series, Weed Country. Mike has grown medical marijuana for over 30 years. Mike has grown some of the most effective and most celebrated medical strains. And Mike is going to tell people here in Florida, and he's lived here in Florida, he knows the climate conditions, he knows what's necessary. He's going to tell them how it's difficult to grow medical strains and how to do it, and that they're not just going to be able to get a bag of seeds, put it in the ground, and then sell it to patients as medical marijuana. And the real business end is going to be covered by Denver Relief. Denver Relief is the model dispensary for the whole country. They were featured on 60 Minutes, a CNN special, BBC, Fox. Every network has done specials because they are the best. Public service, which is a very important part of having a dispensary. Some of your profits should go to public service, and Denver Relief has done that since the very beginning. They've done an awful lot for their city and other cities in Colorado. And they'll talk about production systems because in Colorado, dispensaries actually have to grow almost all of their own cannabis. So they'll talk about the security for growing the cannabis and what they have to do. Those plants are tagged from the minute they come up from the ground until the bud goes out over the counter or until it's made into an edible or a drinkable or an oil or a tincture. They cover all phases of the industry, and no one knows it as well as Denver Relief. BioTrack is the company that has the verification contract for the state of Washington, and they're doing verification in 7 other states. Verification requires the software that follows the plant and the retail end of the business from seed to bud over the counter. They supply the software systems that the state monitors in order to see that each dispensary complies.
What do you see happening after Amendment 2 passes on November 4th?
It goes to the legislature in Tallahassee when they meet in February. At that time, the clock starts running, and they have 6 months to start issuing medical cards. You get your medical card by getting your doctor's recommendation and then forwarding it to the state and getting a state card. Now, that's the way it works in most states, and that's the way it's going to work here. The next thing is they've got 9 months from that start date in February to formulate regulations. The legislature can't mess with it. The governor can't mess with it. That's what's so brilliant about Amendment 2. One way or another, patients are going to be able to get medicine 9 months after.
So where's the conference and how can people get tickets?
You can get tickets at mmjconference.com. Your ticket is not only good for the 11-hour conference and meeting all the experts, but you'll get 4 meals while you're there so that you can make the best of your networking time. There were a lot of deals made at the last conference because everyone there was serious about going into the business, whether they were doctors, lawyers, dispensary people, growers. There were probably 10 people there who already had land and intend to start growing. And there were real estate people there who are already reserving warehouses for grow. And this is a head start for people who intend to get in the business. It is all the facts that are available and the best opinions you can get on how things are going to look after November.
Thank you for watching Florida Marijuana Info's presentation. Like us on Facebook and tell us what you want to see. Tweet us at FL Marijuana Info. Thank you.